Yeah, guys. The next topic is arrays in C sharp. So you people are already aware about arrays. So whenever you want to store a single value, we'll prefer variable. If you want to store multiple values, more than one value, so belongs to the same data type. So we are going to use this arrays topic. Okay. So arrays always it is going to be like this. Let me show you diagrammatically. So if it is a single variable, single value, we are going to use variables. Multiple, we are going to prefer arrays. So arrays are always going to store multiple data type, multiple values which are of same data type. So always whenever you want to store the value, whenever you want to retrieve the value, you are going to depend upon index. So index is a value which starts always from 0. So 1 like that, 2, 3. So if array size is some n is some 10 values, so then index will be always from 0 to n minus 1, that is what 9 if the n value is 10. So whenever I want to store a value into this particular location example, so as I mentioned, arrays always will store only one data type values. So all values should be a single data type. So arrays can be declared like this. Before storing this, let me tell you how to declare an array inside this particular C#.NET. So in C or C++, we are going to define, it is going to be the syntax will be whatever the data type and array name. In the square brackets, you are going to mention the size. Size is nothing but how many values that can able to store. That means number of locations that contains to store. But in C sharp, it is going to be different. So you are going to write data type of array name is equal to new data type of, you are going to mention the size as it is. Okay, let's take an example. Suppose string of courses equal to new string of, here I can mention whatever the size. So here if I give 10, this courses array will have 10 locations where that can be operated those 10 from 0 to 9 index. Okay. So now in case if I want to store any value, so 10 means it is going to be like this, right? In case if I want to store value here, so I need to write the code. In case if I want to store courses of 0, that means at 0 location I just want to save some C++, then this value C++ will get saved at 0 location. So like that I need to continue for courses of 1, courses of 2, courses of 3 till n minus 1. So if it is 10, we can write not a big deal. Whenever we have 1000, imagine whenever we have 1000 locations, array is very big at the time. So for storing, I need to write 1000 lines. For retrieving, I need to write 1000 lines. This is not a good way of programming. So that is the reason what we will do. You will maintain some for loop or for each loop or while loop, any of the looping statements we are going to use. So by using the looping statements, we can able to store, read the values to the array, even we can get values from the array also. Okay, so here I am going to make it bit dynamic. Instead of giving a fixed value 10 or 5 or something, let's ask the end user according to the requirement. You can make the size of the array according to the user value. So suppose if you see, enter array size I am asking. So user will enter some value. I am going to read by using the parse method from console.readline. So simply instead of this 1, 2 or 5 or 10, I am going to pass that n value. Whatever the value that entered by the user, the array size is going to stretch till then. So after that, reading array values. So as I mentioned, I cannot use enter value for courses of 0, 1, 2 like that. So let us maintain a loop to read the values. So I am taking for loop this time. So for int I is equal to 0. Why I am taking 0 means always array index starts with 0. It need to repeat till n minus 1, correct? So not n minus 1. So that is the reason it should be less than, not less than, equal to. It should be less than, not less than, equal to. So courses dot length, instead of passing this n value, so whatever the size is there, that I can fetch by array name dot length. So then if user enters 10, you will get 10 here. If users enter 5, I can write 5 here. Don't pass n. Okay. So always we should get the size dynamically from the array length. So here what I will do, so console write line, enter course title example in this. So now courses of I am going to use, I value will be 0, 1, 2, 3, like that it will repeat till n minus 1. So since the array size is string, I can directly store it. So because array type is string, right, that is the reason I can directly write console.readline. If the array size is integer, I need to write int.parse, then console readline I have to use. Okay, so let's see how till now how it is going to be. So I'm keeping a breakpoint, I'm clicking the start button. So now let's ask the n value. I'm giving array size is 5. So then again get back. So array was declared. Now you can see this. So this is the array. So inside this you can see 0 location, 1, 2, 3, 4, because size is 5. Okay. So let me show you one by one. So this is the array. As of now no value is there. That by default string will contain null, right? That is the reason all values are null. So now we came to the for loop and we are repeating even length also. You can see length is 5, courses dot length is 5 because array size is 5. So I'm just keeping the location I value also. You can see now currently I value is 0. Now it is asking to enter the course title. So for which location? 0 location. Now you can see it is asking location value for 0 location. I had given C. You can see the courses of 0 now contains the value C. Now again I value was incremented. I value is now 1. Now this time it will target this location. So again it will ask the course title, that is going to store at courses of 1. So it is asking the course title, some SQL I am giving. Now you can see this was stored with SQL. Now I value will become 2. So it is targeting courses of 2, the third value. So it is asking the course title. Something wrong. Yeah. So now you can see the courses of 2 we got Java. So now again I value will become 3. Now we are targeting courses of 3, the fourth value. So it is asking the course title SQL Server. Now you can see at courses of 3 we got SQL Server, and we can repeat again. So I value will become 4. So courses dot length is 5, less than, it is true. So it is asking the course again. Suppose C#.net. So now all values are completed. Now I value will become 5. 5 less than 5, loop will get exit. So this is how the arrays can be read values from the end user. I hope this is clear. And now let us target on how to print values from the array. As of now we had created a loop to print to read values to the array. Now printing array values. So before printing I just want to print one thing, total items count in the array. So how to get the total? So courses dot length. Okay. So after that I am trying to print some separation symbol. So now here I just want to print my array values. So array values can be printed by using for loop or while loop or even do while also. So after completing this for, I will teach you the new way, that is what the for each. So again, instead of length here, you are going to write courses dot length again. Even to retrieve the values also, I need to write courses of 0, courses of 1, 2, 3 like that. That is the reason we are taking a for loop. Maybe some people will get confused. I already used here. Can we use I again? No issues at all, because I value will be generated at this bracket and that can be closed, the variable value here. That is the reason I can reuse it again. So here you can write console write line. So as I said, courses of 0, 1, 2 like that I need to print. Instead of that, I am passing the courses of I value. Now if I execute, now you can see I am giving the items count is 3, Java, C#, .NET, Python. You can see you will get total items count is 3 and the values are like this. Okay. So this is the regular functionality, nothing new here. Even from C language we are doing the same thing. So here additionally you can do two things. Let me cover that. So here you can make an items in an order. You can arrange the data in an order. So let's see how it is going to be. Sorting the array. So how to sort array means there is a predefined class called array. So here we have sort method. To the sort method, whatever the array you will pass, that array will be arranged in ascending order. Ascending order. Just remember the point carefully. So now, so items count is 3, C++, SQL, Java example. But you can see the order, it was modified as C++, Java and SQL. So C, J and S, ascending order. The data was arranged in ascending order. So this is the new feature available in C#, .NET, which is not there in C or any other previous programming languages. And here you can arrange the data in descending order also. Ascending order in the sense, so least to highest, A to Z. So in case if I want to print in descending order, you can simply reverse the array after you making the sort. So first method will help us to arrange the data in ascending order. When you reverse the ascending order, it will become descending order. Okay. So now let's execute this. Now you can see array size is 3. SQL, C and Java. You can see SQL, Java and C. It is in descending order this time, reverse. So this is the advantage of arrays in C#, .NET. So here let me recollect the points what we got newly here. So where the array size can be declared dynamically, that is one thing, and you can sort the array, you can reverse the array, and you can print the array values as it is by using any one of the looping statements. So here you can do one more thing, guys. Instead of this for loop, there is a topic called for each. So by using the for each also, you can print any of the collection on the screen. Printing by using for each. So you can take a for each method like this. So first, in the right hand side, you need to print which is the collection you want to print. Collection in the sense, even array is a collection of elements, right? So you can use arrays like this. So here I am giving the courses. Here instead of var, they are taking the var data type. Instead of var, you can use what is the data type of that particular collection. Okay. So here my collection type is string. Even though if you use var, it will work. There is no issue at all. So now what will happen here, if you take any particular variable, it is courses, it is course this time. One value will get automatically fetched into this variable, and from this variable we are going to print it on the screen. You can see console write line of course. So once again I am telling you, for each element, so from the courses it will fetch one value into this particular course that is going to be printed on the screen. Let's do it again. You can see this is the original order for each. So here you can see this is the sorted order. So this is by for loop and this is by for each loop. Both are same. So for each you can use only for the printing. while reading the values it is not at all supportable. Okay, for each always can be helpful to print the values or iterate the values, repeat the values for number of times. So this is how an array will be there in C#.NET. Guys, here you should notice few things. So arrays will have some drawbacks. So these drawbacks will overcome by the next topics in future we are going to cover collections topic. So at that time these drawbacks can be covered. So what are the drawbacks of array means? So it can store the elements which are of same data type. You cannot store multiple data type values inside the array, that is one problem. So and array size is always fixed after declaration. So here if you see, we are going to take a dynamic value, that's fine. So suppose if you given array size is 10 but we need to use only 2 values, then remaining 8 locations will get wasted. That is the problem, you should remember. So array size is not flexible. So earlier there is a third drawback also, there is no searching and sorting techniques available, but that is overcome in C#.NET. Currently these two are the drawbacks. So array size is not flexible and it can store only one data type values. This is the problem with the arrays. So it can be overcome in the future topic called collections. So I hope it is clear to everybody. Thank you.